What is going on, all my Bob Ross and Wet on Wet friends? Wild here. Let's get the basics out of the way. If you're not familiar with what liquid white or magic white is, it's that first fat coat of paint you put on your canvas that allows your colors to blend naturally and create beautiful gradients whenever you put other colors or layers on top of it. And it's a must for any wet on wet painting, or if you're gonna follow along with Bob Ross. But let's say you can't get magic or liquid white in your area, or you wanna make your own, or perhaps you don't wanna support BRI products. Perfectly fine. Gonna show you an awesome way to make your own liquid white recipe using Gamblin solvent-free gel. Let's first start with the white paint. Now you wanna make sure you use titanium white paint. In this tutorial here, I'm gonna use Gamblin 1980 series titanium white paint, but any titanium white will work. A great alternative is one of my personal favorites is Winsor & Newton titanium white paint. One, it's extremely affordable, and two, it's a great multitasker because it's the best paint break white I've ever found for doing mountains. No joke. If you're struggling, check out this video up here. It shows you how to knock out paint breaks every time using Winsor & Newton titanium white paint because it's so firm. Once you have the paint that you selected, put a nice hefty dollop of white paint on your mixing palette. Now, we just have to mix that with Gamblin solvent-free gel. Now, depending on which titanium white paint you went with, the ratios can change a little bit because some paints are less firm or soft or creamy, and some paints are extremely firm and a little more robust, let's say. I recommend starting out with a 25% ratio or 1:4 of your white paint because you can always build up, but somewhere between 25 and 40% will work perfect. Now, when you're mixing your liquid white gel recipe together, you want to make sure you do what's called muddle your paint. Don't just sit there and kind of like work the paint in over and over and doing cross strokes with your palette knife. Muddling means you literally take your paint and Gamblin solvent-free gel and mush and mix together. In fact, there would actually be a thing called a muddler, but you can do this with your knife. Just make sure you push down and swirl, push down and swirl, push down and swirl, and make sure you flip the paint over multiple times and scrape the front and back end with your knife so everything's gonna come to a nice creamy texture. If we use our Bob Ross liquid white as our control, you can see it's got these very soft meringue-like peaks that it can hold just ever so slightly. And that's what we want to create. So make sure you get close to that. And as you can see with our Gamblin solvent-free liquid white gel, we got exactly close to that. Now, when it comes to making your own liquid white gel, I actually recommend you make more than you need to cover your canvas. Reason is, for an extra tip, is because you can use this to thin down your paint to make easy highlights for your clouds, your trees, your bushes, your grass, whatever you want to do. So make extra because you can scoop it up and put it on the corner of your mixing palette. So you can always go into it a little bit later down the road for whatever you need it for. Now, you're probably wondering if you're going to mix Gamblin solvent-free gel with your titanium white, there is a ratio you don't want to go over. And that is correct. According to Gamblin, if I remember off the top of my head, you don't want to do any more than 20%. Otherwise, it can lead to wake paint adhesion. But you know what? 6 months ago, I tested this theory out. On the left side of this practice canvas here, I did a 20% mixture of titanium white and on top of our little painting here. On the right side, I did a 50 to 60% mixture ratio. And you know what? 6 months later, they're still firm, they still hold on, and I can't actually really scrape any of the paint off. I really have to work extremely hard with a palette knife to actually break and flake the 60% side off, but that's pretty rare for somebody to do that. But I imagine over time, this is not an archival recipe if you go extremely high with your mixing ratio. So please keep that in mind. This liquid white gel recipe works fantastic. So good, in fact, I actually use it on the piece just over my shoulder. And if you wanna see how I did that painting, because it's perfect for any wet on wet painter that's starting out, you too can paint a minimalistic sunrise, which is right over here to the right-hand side, which uses that liquid white gel recipe base. I'll catch you all later, and if you need more helpful tips, you know what to do. Hit subscribe and like to the videos, and I'll catch you all later. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to hit that super thanks. Peace.